Welcome to the fourth video in my What's New in DocuWare 7.12 series. In this video we're going to investigate DocuWare Forms. Let's jump in. So first off, if we look at DocuWare we've added, we can see that the filtered drop-down lists now auto-refresh in DocuWare. This is a massive change based on previous versions of Forms whereby this didn't happen. This caused a whole ton of issues, in particular for one big installation of mine, whereby if a user wasn't quite sure of a nominal code or something when they were filling in a form, it then was stuck with the rest of the information because they'd clicked all the way through. And for them to change something, they then had to untick everything to get back to the stage before. So massive thumbs up from me on this one from DocuWare for getting this added into the forms. Second is the ability to search for values within a drop-down list. I'll show these both as we go through later on in the video. Third is also the ability to now resubmit a form or restart filling in a form with the previously submitted values already added to that form. Again, if somebody's submitting a PO or something and they have to submit lots of them, this is going to be a massive time saver for those people. The next two additions that we've got is the ability for the auto numbering to be configured on form load or on form submission. This stops the problem whereby if you open a form up and then don't submit it, but then reopen the form, DocuWare would jump numbers. It was a real pain when you were building purchase order solutions because it meant you had gaps in your purchase order numbers. The fact we can now do that at form submission is a massive bonus. The final thing I'm going to show is the ability of hidden fields being refreshed when they are hidden. Let's jump into the screen and take a look. So I have open in front of me a fictional travel expense form. If we look here, I have a drop-down list of all the users. What DocuWare have added here is one, the ability to filter the names here. So if I start typing Sanders, what you'll see is Sanders appears. And the wildcard is on by default there, so I'm not having to use stars or do wild searches there. It's just going and finding the information for me. That alone is a massive time saver on these forms. When I click, what we'll see is the sales department and the manager, being Peggy Jenkins, are automatically filled in because I've chosen Peter Sanders from that list. Now, if I remove Peter Sanders, what you'll see now is instead of these fields being filled with the values and those being stuck there, those fields have automatically emptied, allowing me to enter the next value or the other value that I wanted to add. This is a huge performance improvement from DocuWare and is going to save a ton of time and a ton of anger and annoyance for people that are filling in forms as they go. The next thing that DocuWare have added, if I look to submit this form, just going to attach everything that's regular or required. If I click submit, oh, I need dates. What we'll see now after submission is that DocuWare will automatically submit the form, but now I have the ability to reopen the form with the same input I've just filled in. So if I click blank form, obviously the form is going to open back up in its on itself blank. If I click filled form, I'm going to get the form back to me with all of the information that I had just filled in before, saving me the aggro and the effort of having to type all of that info in again to resubmit a new form. As I say, a massive thumbs up on two huge changes from DocuWare there that is going to save a ton of time for people filling in those forms. If we look at the last time savings here, if we go to the travel expenses form in the back end of DocuWare, you'll see at the top here I have the expense report number. On here I have the ability to do this count or to do this submission on form load or on form submit. Now that's a massive change again. As I said at the start, this is going to save a ton of annoyance with users whereby when using an auto numbering for a form, there's missed numbers where folks have opened the form and not actually submitted. The final change that I wanted to show is within behaviors. If I go to this hidden field now, what I can see is when I choose for a field to be hidden, I now have the option whether I want to retain the original values that were there or whether I want to reset the values to the default when they are hidden. Again, if you're using things like POs and you've got multiple lines, If somebody fills in a line and goes, oh, actually, I don't want to order that anymore, and then goes to hide the line because they don't need it anymore, that value would have stayed and been submitted in the PO. This being added is a big time saver there again. Some huge updates to forms from the team at DocuWare. Huge kudos to Fina and the entire product management team on the DocuWare side. That is a massive saving and a massive time saving. There's also, with some future versions of DocuWare that are coming, I believe 7.13, but don't quote me, there's a massive change to forms that is going to make them incredibly usable and just open up a whole new range of options there. So I'm really excited for that moving forward in the future. Let me know what your thoughts are, whether or not you're looking forward to these changes, whether there's anything you wish DocuWare had added for this version. I know for me there was one in particular, which was the ability to access select lists in a table from outside a table. So if I was to choose a PO number, for example, at the header level, I wanted just the items from that PO to then show in the table drop-down lists. That's not there in this version. Fingers crossed DocuWare get that added in the next. Drop a like, drop some comments. Be great to hear from you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.